Hello everyone, viewers. Tonight we peel back the veil of celestial serenity, daring to gaze into the shadowed history of one of the most enigmatic and terrifying figures in ancient lore. Forget the cherubic choirs and the peaceful guardians. Today we confront a being whose very name echoes with the clang of ancient battle, the whisper of forbidden spells, and the mournful cry of a world forever changed by his hand. We are talking about Azazel, the architect of humanity's dark awakening, the fallen angel who didn't just fall from grace, but actively dragged a significant portion of humanity down with him into a vortex of forbidden arts and ceaseless warfare. This isn't merely a tale of rebellion. It is a profound exploration of supernatural influence, cosmic betrayal, and the harrowing origin. Prepare yourselves, for the truth about Azazel is far more unsettling and far more pervasive than you might ever have imagined. Stay with us, and by the end of this journey your understanding of angels, and indeed of humanity itself, may never be the same. And if you find yourself captivated by these ancient whispers, remember to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more journeys into the profound depths of religion. In the primordial dawn, when the cosmos was still fresh from the Creator's breath, a legion of celestial beings, the Watchers, were dispatched to Earth. Their sacred duty was guardianship, observation, and to guide the nascent human race in the paths of righteousness. They were beings of immense power, of radiant light, positioned as a bridge between the divine and the mortal. Among them, not a mere foot soldier of the heavens, but a leader, a celestial artisan perhaps, whose intellect was as sharp as the finest celestial blade, and whose insight into the very fabric of existence was profound. He was part of that divine council, an overseer of a realm still innocent, still untainted by the shadow of corruption. Humanity, in its infancy, was a creature of simple needs. They lived in harmony with nature, their struggles purely physical, their spirits untarnished by the complexities of ambition or the stain of greed. The Watchers observed this nascent purity, tasked with ensuring its continuity. But then a subtle shift occurred. A creeping fascination, a forbidden longing, began to fester within the hearts of some among the Watchers. They cast their gaze upon the daughters of men, not with the detached benevolence of guardians, but with a gaze of carnal desire. It was a transgression of cosmic proportions, a breach of the sacred boundary between the divine and the mortal, between spirit and flesh. Azazel was not merely a passive observer in this grand betrayal. He was, according to ancient texts like the Book of Enoch, he saw in humanity not just innocence to be protected, but a vessel to be shaped, a canvas upon which his own burgeoning desires for knowledge and power could be etched. He coveted not just their beauty, but their potential, their malleable minds, their capacity to learn and perhaps to defy. The pact was forged on Mount Hermon. 200 Watchers descended, abandoning their celestial posts, and from these unnatural unions, monstrous offspring were born, the Nephilim, giants whose hunger was insatiable, whose violence knew no bounds, filling the earth with tyranny and bloodshed. But the physical transgression was just the beginning. The truly insidious aspect of Azazel's rebellion was the unveiling of forbidden knowledge. It was here that his cunning, his profound understanding of creation's secrets. Imagine a world where humanity, still in its Edenic innocence, suddenly gained access to secrets that were never meant for their minds. Azazel, with a chilling precision, began to instruct mankind in the arts of warfare. He taught them the secrets of metals, how to extract them from the earth, how to refine them with fire, how to forge them into instruments of death, swords that cleaved flesh, shields that repelled blows, breastplates that defied arrows. The very tools of conflict, emerged from his infernal tutelage. Before Azazel, conflict might have been crude, primal, a clash of brute strength. After him, it became a strategic, systematic, and devastating science. The idyllic agrarian existence of early humanity was shattered, replaced by the grim realities of tribal warfare, conquest and bloodshed on an unprecedented scale. But his teachings didn't stop at instruments of war. Azazel also introduced humanity to the subtleties of adornment, the allure of cosmetics, and the deceptive gleam of precious stones. He taught women the art of beautification, how to paint their faces, how to craft exquisite jewelry, how to weave alluring garments. What seems innocuous on the surface was, in fact, a deeper corruption. It fostered vanity, jealousy, and a superficiality that diverted humanity's gaze from the spiritual to the material. It sowed discord among communities, igniting envy and competition. It was the birth of superficiality, a dangerous distraction from the spiritual path. Consider the profound shift from humble adornment to ostentatious display, from natural beauty to artificial enhancement, from simple living to an obsession with outward appearance. This was not mere fashion, it was a psychological weapon, eroding the inner peace and fostering a culture of endless desire. Azazel didn't just teach Fae what Fae to do, he instilled the Fae desire Fae for it, manipulating human nature at its very core. And perhaps most terrifyingly, Azazel unveiled the mysteries of sorcery and enchantments. He initiated humanity into the dark arts, the manipulation of unseen forces, the casting of spells, the summoning of entities. This wasn't merely about acquiring, it was a direct challenge to the Creator's authority, an invitation to dabble in powers far beyond human comprehension, with catastrophic consequences. The very fabric of reality seemed to warp under the weight of these forbidden practices. Diseases spread, not just from natural causes, but from curses and dark enchantments. The spiritual realm, once distinct and distant, became dangerously porous. Humanity, once innocent and striving for divine connection, was now steeped in the blackest arts, their souls entangled in a web of forbidden power and spiritual decay. The world, once a paradise, quickly devolved into a chaotic maelstrom. Violence became rampant. The Nephilim, empowered by their supernatural lineage and unchecked appetites, terrorized the humanity. Armed with Azazel's teachings, turned upon itself, slaughtering, conquering, and enslaving with brutal efficiency. The very air seemed to thicken with the lamentations of the innocent and the stench of corruption. The divine realm, however, was not blind to this escalating horror. The cries of humanity, the anguish of the earth, ascended to the heavens. The archangels Fae Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Uriel Fae witnessed the escalating depravity, their hearts heavy with sorrow and righteous indignation. The cosmic order was in disarray, and a reckoning was inevitable. But how would the divine intervention unfold, and who would be the messenger? It was Enoch, a righteous man, chosen by the Most High, who was tasked with delivering the divine decree. His journey was one of perilous spiritual ascent, traversing realms unseen, bearing a message of judgment and condemnation. Imagine the scene: Enoch, a solitary figure, standing before the assembled host of the fallen. Their faces, once radiant with divine light, now marred by arrogance, shadowed by defiance. He delivered the stark prophecy: their illicit unions would bring forth only sorrow. Their monstrous offspring would turn upon each other, and for their transgressions, an eternal darkness awaited them. Enoch's words hung heavy in the air, a chilling harbinger of their inescapable doom. He then approached Azazel, the primary architect of humanity's ruin. The confrontation must have been profound. Azazel, who had once stood so high, now faced the chilling pronouncement of his ultimate fate. The divine judgment was swift and uncompromising. Uriel, the archangel, received the command to seize Azazel. The texts describe a dramatic capture where Azazel was bound hand and foot, chained in the desolate wilderness. Not merely an imprisonment, but a profound He was dragged into the darkness of Dudale, a desolate place in the desert, a chasm of jagged rocks and perpetual gloom. Upon his face, the divine decree commanded, jagged rocks were cast, obscuring his vision, burying him in a desolate, lightless abyss. This was not just a physical punishment. It was a symbolic blinding, an eradication of the very vision that had led him to. He who had opened humanity's eyes to darkness was now plunged into an eternal, suffocating night. The desert, a place of spiritual purification and exile in many traditions, became his eternal prison. He was to remain there bound in chains until the great day of judgment, when he would finally be cast into the eternal fire. His reign of terror, his grand deception, was brought. The world, cleansed by the great flood, was given a chance at a new beginning, a reset born from the ashes of Azazel's ruinous legacy. This divine action was not just about punishment, it was about restoration, about setting right the cosmic balance that Azazel had so grievously distorted. Yet, the story of Azazel doesn't end with his binding, his influence, though the knowledge he imparted, the seeds of destruction and vanity he sowed, took root deep within the human psyche. Even after his binding, the tools of war, the lure of superficiality, the temptation of forbidden magic lingered in the collective consciousness of humanity. His dark legacy, a shadow cast across the ages, reminds us of the profound impact supernatural forces can have. And here's where the narrative of Azazel takes an even more profound, almost paradoxical turn, connecting him to one of the most sacred rituals of ancient Israel, the Day of Atonement, Yom Kippur. In this solemn annual ritual, 2 goats were selected. One was sacrificed to the Lord, its blood shed as an atonement for the sins of the people. The other, however, bore a farm. The high priest would lay his hands upon its head, symbolically transferring all the sins and transgressions of the entire Israelite community onto it. This goat was then led into the wilderness, into an uninhabited land, and set free. This was the scapegoat, sent to Azazel. This ritual is not just a metaphor, it is a profound, tangible link between the fallen angel and the concept of collective. The goat sent to Azazel carried away the sins of the people, banished into the very wilderness where Azazel himself was bound. It symbolized the removal of sin, its expulsion to the spiritual source of corruption, to be absorbed or contained by the very entity responsible for its introduction into the world. In essence, Azazel, the instigator of sin, became, paradoxically, the recipient of it, a cosmic sin eater, an unwilling vessel for humanity's transgressions. His eternal imprisonment wasn't just punishment, it was an active containment of the very evil he unleashed. This ancient ritual, still observed in spirit by many today, serves as a powerful reminder of it speaks to a cosmic accounting where even the actions of fallen angels have their place in the grand scheme of divine justice and purification. Azazel, the tempter, the teacher of forbidden arts, becomes the symbolic receptacle for the very sins he helped propagate. This complex narrative, where a figure of profound evil becomes intertwined with an act of atonement, offers us a unique lens through which to view the dynamics of good. It compels us to consider the seductive allure of forbidden knowledge, the quick path to power, the shortcuts to gratification, and the devastating consequences that inevitably follow. It highlights the importance of spiritual discernment, of recognizing the subtle whispers of temptation that promise immediate gain at the cost of long-term destruction. In a world inundated with information, where it urges us to question the source of our knowledge, to consider the ethical implications of our pursuit of power, and to reflect on the true cost of unchecked ambition. The tale of Azazel is not just a relic of ancient mythology, it is a mirror reflecting humanity's ongoing struggle with its darker impulses, a powerful narrative that guides us towards a deeper understanding of our own choices and their far-reaching consequences. It compels us to choose wisdom over mere knowledge, and to seek genuine progress over destructive shortcuts. If you've been drawn into this shadowy tale, if the ancient whispers of Azazel have resonated with you, consider subscribing to our channel and giving this video a like. Your engagement fuels our journey into these profound and often unsettling aspects of religious mythology. We are committed to unearthing these epic stories, exploring their dramatic conflicts, and offering perspectives that can guide us in our contemporary world. So, what lessons do we draw from Azazel's tragic fall? We learn that true strength lies not in forbidden power, but in adherence to divine order. We learn that unchecked ambition, no matter how grand, leads only to desolation. And perhaps most importantly, we learn that even in the face of immense spiritual corruption, there is a pathway to atonement, a cosmic mechanism for the removal of sin, however arduous the process. Azazel's story, then, is a chilling reminder of the perils of celestial disobedience, a foundational myth that explains the origins of human depravity, and a profound symbolic narrative. It is a testament to the enduring power of these mythological narratives to shape our understanding of good and evil, creation and destruction, and the eternal struggle for the human soul. His name, once whispered in fear and condemnation, now echoes as a cautionary tale, a stark reminder of the devastating power of forbidden knowledge and the enduring consequences of a rebellious spirit. Thank you for We hope this journey has offered you new insights and perhaps a renewed sense of vigilance against the subtle seductions that still permeate our world. All right, that is all for today's video. If you liked this video, please subscribe and give it a like to support us. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.